Now that Zelda Breath of the Wild is in everybody's hands, the question on Zelda superfans' minds is, where does this game take place in the long and convoluted history of the Zelda games? Let's jump into it, Henry. Where is this game on the timeline?
Well, like all things with the Zelda timeline, it is complicated and complex, but I can say definitely for sure it takes place after Ocarina of Time, because that is where the Temple of Time was first seen, and the Temple of Time ruins is one of the first things you see in Breath of the Wild. The layout is very similar to the one in Ocarina, so it definitely is connected to Ocarina in that way.
Okay, now what makes it harder to pinpoint like where it might be after that?
So after that, when you beat Ocarina of Time, you either beat it as a child or you beat it as an adult. Those two timelines then represent concurrent timelines that different games have taken place in. And child is Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess and Four Swords Adventures. And meanwhile, an adult is Wind Waker and the portable sequels that followed that.
So what's the evidence for the Twilight Princess version or the Wind Waker timeline?
There are a lot of opaque references to Twilight Princess that you keep popping up in the game. Multiple people have spotted, especially when they've started translating the Sheikah language that's in the game. So with it taking place after Twilight Princess, that would make a ton of sense that they are rebuilding the world, that Ganon has now transformed into this calamity Ganon, that he's gotten even more gross than he was in Twilight Princess.
So what's some of the evidence for why it might be part of the Wind Waker timeline?
There's a little bit there. In Wind Waker, you had the big ocean world, and that if the water had dried up, then maybe this is what's left there, and there's some rock salt and other deposits that would say that. Also, the bird people who are in Wind Waker exclusively are first introduced there. They evolved only in that timeline because of all the water, not in the Twilight Princess timeline to this point. But they could have really evolved in any way in the assumed 10,000 years in between Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess. So that's not to say that Wind Waker is the only place those characters can exist.
So if you were going to bet on a timeline, which one are you picking?
I'm going with the child timeline, and that it takes place after Twilight Princess. I think there is enough evidence there and obvious references from Nintendo that they want you to think that.
No official word from Nintendo on where the game sits. The debate still rages on. What do you guys think? Wind Waker timeline, Twilight Princess timeline, or something entirely different? Let us know. And for more news on Zelda Breath of the Wild and all the other Nintendo Switch games, keep it right here on FANDOM.com.